Alright, it's still pretty early. It's 4th of July, Independence Day. Um, I, had to, I had to go upstairs and take care of some business, but oh yeah. Anyway, that noise you hear in the background, that is the drone of the well pump. I have a massive well pump down there. I have 2 wells, which is fucking awesome. Well, there I go, cussing. I'm trying to do better. I was doing really well for a while. Let me get it back under control. So Val's taking a shower, and me, I am mixing up some of this here protein. Now you know I'm the carbolin king, right? Love carbolin. EAS gave me this protein also to try. Protein 6, right? I already told you there's pea protein in it. You know, whey isolate and whey concentrate, casein, I don't know what all. 6 different proteins in there. Just, you know, time release thing. Anyhow, the only reason I'm bringing this up, and again, I don't have any affiliation with these things other than that I use them. Which, look, I appreciate it if some other, you know, big bastard out there with a ton of muscle, you know, but then there's all these other clarifiers, like that's not on a bunch of shit, that's got a lot of years in and actually built his body through training and this and that. Yeah, it would take a bunch of quantifier shit for me to be able to relate to it enough that I would say, so take notice, oh, that works really well, I'll try that. But anyway, if you share your ideas with me, and a lot of you guys have shared me some awesome vegan ideas with me. Awesome. They're priceless. I love it. So, you know, I'm just doing quid pro quo. I'm just sharing some of my life. I know, it's not cool, but what do you expect? I'm 54, be 55 this year. Cool ain't what it used to be. Anyway, you know, if I go to a bookstore or something cool in a barn that was built in 1800, I think that's cool. So I may decide to share that. Apparently, people aren't that interested in it. Well, I'm sorry, but that's all I got. Can't just talk about this shit all the time. That's boring to me. Anyway, I want to show you about this shit was surprising to me because of the array of proteins that are in it, right? I only expect like really light, nice and clean, awesome, you know, mixability and stuff, and doesn't fall out of suspension when you leave it sit extended periods, and it doesn't stick all over the side of the cup or clump up. I only really expect that to happen with like whey isolate and things usually. The hell I put top of the shaker, I just took off of it. Shit just disappears around here sometimes. You know, I didn't take it off of it. It's in this drain. So I'm not even going to do it. But what impressed me, back to the point, what impressed me was that this is the mix that it is, and it, I'll show you. Okay, Eric got me some in there, it's 2 scoops. Should be like 52 grams, according to the label. I'm going to mix it with milk. Yeah, I still drink some milk. This is skim milk, this is Fairlife. So you know there's no lactose in it. It's really, really clean. It's about as clean as you're going to get and still drink milk. So I'm going to mix it up in there. Now I don't have any shaker ball or nothing in this thing, right? And you see I'm not getting overly aggressive. But look how well it blends. It shakes up and mixes up. I think it's pretty awesome. It's not all chunked up and shit. And if this sits, right, it's real thin, light, even this milk. Of course, this milk is pretty thin. Like I said, there's no lactose or anything in the skim. But even if I let this sit for an hour, nothing of it will fall out of suspension. There won't be anything in the bottom. And I've never seen any protein powder that has casein and even concentrate in it that is this stable once you mix it up and mix it so thoroughly and easily. So that's on the plus side. It's not really tacky and sticky. It's just very slightest bit, not much. Not like you would expect from casein or so. I didn't expect much out of it, but I'm loving this protein. I'm liking it, you know. So So I drink like half, and then I'll let it sit, make me some breakfast, and then I'll polish this off within the next hour. I'm not like going to throw it down, chug it down. I've already had some coffee, of course. And what else do I do in the mornings? Well, I gotta go out and chop some wood. A lot of shit to do outside, a lot of gardening type of stuff. And I need a utility cart to pull around on the back of the tractor. The little smaller, little John Deere. So that's what I got in store for today. I know, it's just thrilling, isn't it? It's just thrilling. But I may go to the gym. And I may go out and feed some people, since it's Independence Day. May do that, and maybe we'll take the camera with us. It's not always practical, but maybe we will, because I don't think that people realize what it really looks like. I'll tell you this, the homeless situation, even in Pennsylvania here, however bad you think it is, and however rough you think it is for the participants, it's worse. It's much worse. I mean, for me, the most eye-opening thing, the scariest thing, it's not like you envision, like when you go through the city and you see people, just sitting around the streets and leaning up against buildings and stuff, or just hanging out, right, with signs. That's homelessness. But even in the rural areas, man, there are like tent cities and homeless camps out in the middle of the woods where you wouldn't even think, you don't even see, out of sight. And when you go there are these communities of these people. And the biggest, I guess, shock, which I just never thought much about it, were the number of children that live that way. Children. So, I know a lot of people out there, well, that's because, homeless people, they're all drunks, alcoholics, or they're drug addicts. And you have a lot of that kind of abuse, and you have people with those issues, just like you have, people with psychological issues, emotional issues. You have people, right? They're out there. But, man, there are straight up people out there that don't do any of those things, and are just in a bad place. They are out there. All you have to do is go and find out. If you go find out, you'll discover that what you think it is isn't what it is. You'll find that. You'll find the stereotypical images that you have in your head, but you're also going to find things that are going to be more disturbing than that, because they exist and they're real and they are somewhat typical, but there aren't things that you considered. And the biggest thing for me are these kids, man. When you go out, all these kids, and in PA we have places like in Carlisle. I know there are places, there's one that I'm lining up to go and visit, so that we can partner up with the people that run this effort and see what we can do to help, chip in, pitch in. And they have these churches where in the evenings, people can come in, their families, single parents with their kids, and like the one had 26 children in it that night. These places aren't that large. They don't really hold that many people. 26 kids. There were more kids in there than adults. And the kids can spend the night, and they sleep on the floors or little mats. And they have to be out like by 8:30 or something like that, 8:15. Everybody's got to be out in the place every morning. So what they do is the kids will sleep there overnight, and then they get up and go to school in the morning. So they're out well in time. But imagine that as a kid, man. Think about your school days. Could you imagine having an idea, because of the goodness and concern of strangers, where you're going to sleep? You can go to this church, you can go over here, and there's a community that's established somewhat, and you're going to go there and be able to spend the night you can't get in until I think it's like 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. So you get out of school, and what's your day like? You're going to meet up with your parent or parents, and you're homeless. You're outside, and I guess you're doing whatever you do, foraging or trying to get by, feed yourself, whatever you have to do, until the 7:30 or 7 p.m. whatever it is, 7:30 I think, that you can get into the church and sleep. So I guess you can get cleaned up somewhat and stuff in there, maybe have a little something to eat. You have to understand this happens every night, so there's not like a lot of resources left over. It's not like there's a whole stockpile of things, and food and stuff, and because it happens daily, it doesn't stop. And then you get up and you go to school in the morning, and you go through your whole day of school, and what do you have to look forward to? And a lot of these kids express that they're embarrassed that they hope none of their friends ever want to walk home with them or anything like that. It's just a mess. It's just a huge mess. Anyway, I have to move out. I'm occupying valuable terrain here in the kitchen, and Valerie needs to get her breakfast together, and she doesn't want to be on the camera, although now she's teaching yoga, so she may end up on the camera. We'll see what happens. I know it's just nail-biting suspense around here in this world, isn't it? It's so exciting here, Gorilla with a Cause Central. All right, you guys take care. Have an awesome 4th of July.